Okay, everyone. We've now come to the closing session for the conference. It doesn't mean the conference is over. We still have the very important social event that comes after this, and I'll give some short instructions at the end of the closing for that. But we have the social event this afternoon and this evening, and then tomorrow for some people that have registered, we also have an En-ROADS simulation game for climate change. For those people that are interested, that can come back and participate in that activity. But for those other people, after this evening, this may be the end of the conference for you. I hope you've enjoyed your time here on the Gold Coast and the campus, and also through the various parallel sessions that have been running. So just going through again on some of the basics of the conference, some of the key people. As I've said previously at the welcome, these are the organising organisations: University of Zagreb in Croatia, Instituto Superior Técnico in Portugal, and Griffith University here on the Gold Coast. This is the Gold Coast campus, but the university itself has 5 campuses across the Southeast Queensland region. I always like to think, but this is the best campus because this is where I work. And behind the scenes for this conference, most of the organisation in terms of the website and the day-to-day sort of communications through emails and the handling of papers is done by a core team within the SDEWES Centre that's predominantly based in Croatia. Just to acknowledge the scientific committee, if you get to become aware of the process, the scientific committee of the core people who handle the papers that come through. So very much like handling editors that you would see for a journal publication. They'll screen the abstracts and make sure they're fitting the scope and theme of the conference, that they're suitable, reasonable quality, and then they'll be sending the papers, whether they're archival or conference papers, off to the various reviewers and handling the review process from there. You'll see a few people here. Obviously, you might see some familiar faces. There's approximately 30 people here within the ISC, but you'll see some key faces here, including Nevin, myself, Natasha, Henning, Vonimir as well. So these people, they will come to the conference. If you go to the main conference, you'll see at least 50 to 70% of the ISC committee at that particular conference. As Nevin mentioned, the ISC is, it's made up of generally esteemed researchers. At least 50% of the ISC committee are in the Stanford top 2% highly cited researchers within their respective disciplines. So it is it's a respectable group, high-profile researchers from across the globe. I would say the majority are in Europe, but the ISC is growing with membership in Latin America, Asia Pacific, and also sort of Northern America as well. So it is sort of broadening its, scope and reach more globally as well. Many of the ISC members as well, you'll notice if you look at the names as well, they're editors of some of the esteemed journals. So some of the top Elsevier, Taylor and Francis Springer journals. Many of the ISC members are editors or associate editors of those top journals. So if you do look at some of the names, you actually recognize them for some of the top Elsevier journals, particularly in the energy and energy planning space. I'd like to acknowledge the local organising committee. You would have definitely seen the majority of these faces here today. We also have some people behind the scenes sitting on computers at the early hours of the morning in Croatia as well, helping to arrange all the online virtual presentations and streaming out to that virtual audience as well. So yeah, there's myself there, Oz, he's the the really direct, annoying Turkish guy that I work with. Obviously, Nevin, Vonimir. We have Cheryl, who's not here at the moment, and Sondos, Damien, Junwei, who's not here. We have some PhDs, Fida, Azuri. We have Marco, he's sitting in Croatia, arranging things behind the scenes with the technology and support. Cara did an introduction. We have Andrea, coordinates the administration side of the conference. Hiwa, PhD support organisation. Joanna, PhD student and presenter. Tarakal, PhD student. Anna Maria, part of the organising committee within the centre as well. Yasmin, we know Tomislav, very charismatic Croatian as well. Dilakshana, a PhD here at Griffith. Russell, who's our organising committee from our neighbouring UQ, University of Queensland. Goran, he's one of the PhD researchers at University of Zagreb, and Amelia, who's actually away sick, but she's usually participates in the conference as well. So I'll just probably ask people to put their hands together for the local and international conference. Now, as we know, particularly for the PhD students, it's usually lots of volunteer and extra effort that they put into these things. So we really appreciate their particular time. I won't name anyone on this list. It's the Scientific Advisory Board. It's a massive database of anyone and everyone who's been involved in the conference since the beginning, I guess you could say. And that database has been developed. It has the expertise of all the various researchers from across the various themes and sub-themes related to this conference. And as a scientific committee member, you can look out and obviously pick some of these people. So if you do get an invite, an email comes through and it says, please review this paper, I encourage you to accept that review and conduct that review, because it's someone else's archival paper that you'll be reviewing. And then as Nevin will talk about, that then obviously goes through to, if it's accepted, it goes through to then the special issue journals later on. So this group of people is also very important because they are a part of that machinery of review. And also you'll meet many of these people at the conferences if you do attend them. Here at this local conference, Regional Asia Pacific Conference on SDEWES, here on the Gold Coast, as I said at the opening, we had 83 on site, 118 online participants across 22 countries. 68 papers were presented in the regular sessions and 2 plenaries, Professor Stuart White and the presentation today. So we also had some people didn't present their work, and that's not unusual at a conference where people are signed up to participate in a session, even if it's an archival paper and they don't present. But the rules of the conference are very strict in terms of if you don't present your archival paper, your archival paper will not go through to the process of being considered and selected for special issue journals. So they're very strict on that. And as Nevin or other people within the SDEWES Centre will know, I've been one of those people at one point where I did not present my paper. And, there's no special favours, even being in the scientific committee. You're in trouble. And, your paper is dropped from that special issue opportunity. So, this is, rules have to be strict, and they have to be, fair and followed for everyone in the same way. So totally understand that. That's the way it works. But I'll hand over to Nevin now, and Nevin, Professor Nevin Jewett, he'll provide an overview of the conference and then talk a little bit more about the special issues.
Thank you, Rodney. I would like to thank Rodney, Oz, and Cara, who envisaged this conference long time ago. I remember Cara came to me in Rio de Janeiro in 2018, and she said, well, you know, we talked about it in Gold Coast. It would be a good idea maybe to try to bring the conference to Australia. And that's how this idea has started. But let me go a little bit more to the history of SDEWES. We started in 2002 in Dubrovnik. It was a small conference. Dubrovnik was a site of previous conference for many years of International Center for Heat and Mass Transfer, which was a conference envisaged in the times of Cold War to bring together scientists in physics of heat transfer from Soviet Union and the West together. This was a politically difficult conference. And that one was organized during many years by Professor Naim Afgan from Institute Vinča in Belgrade and other people at different times. And then he came to University of Zagreb in the beginning of 2000. Since we lost this conference due to the war, it moved to Turkey. It's still going on, so it's still relevant, but it's not anymore so politically relevant. And he came to us around 2000 to Zagreb, and he said, let's organize something similar, but on a new topic. The topic of the future, sustainable development of energy, water, and environment systems. So that was his idea. It was not Cold War anymore, but we have many different views in different parts of the world. And Dubrovnik is a kind of a nice place where you come and you can discuss those difficult subjects in a beautiful surrounding. So the conference became already quite big by 2007, and we were organizing every second year. And then I said, well, Dubrovnik is becoming crowded, touristically expensive. Let's try some other place. And then thanks to Natasha, we brought the SDEWES for the first time in 2012 to Ohrid in Macedonia, a beautiful lake resort in southern Macedonia on the Greek border. And it was a really good success, probably the best social life we ever had. We nearly turned over the boat on the lake from dancing, you know. And then we said, well, this makes sense, and let's do every odd year in Dubrovnik and every even year somewhere else. So in 2014, we went on a cruiser from Venice to Istanbul. That was great, very difficult to organize. And also because this was a limited number of people we could fit on the boats, because you needed to reserve earlier, and some people thought it's not really ethical to go on a tourist boat. So we organized in parallel a new conference series in Southeast Europe. We said, for those that don't want cruisers, having something against cruisers, we have it again in Ohrid. And from 2014, we started the Southeast European conference. And then in 2016, Lisbon was success, 2018, Palermo, 2020 was COVID. It was supposed to be in Stuttgart. 2022 was in Paphos. And this year, the main conference will be in Rome. But we continued with Southeast European conference series. We started Latin American conference series. And Asia-Pacific conference series. So we are looking for possible venues in 26. We already have some possibilities, but if you have a good proposal, come to me and let's think about how to organize a next Asia-Pacific conference. Let's go to the most important part now. Your papers, we want them to be published. And we have partnership with many journals. These that are black are active partnerships. The gray ones were previous partnerships. We lose some journals, we get other journals, but usually we do around 20 to 25 special issues per year. We already published 3,000 papers in those special issues in the last 20 years. You can see this list also online. What will be the process? So okay, let's just say a few words about SDEWES. This is our journal that we started. Now we are also starting Journal of Sustainable Development Indicators. So you are most welcome to try to publish in this journal, which received impact factor last year, 2.1. Not bad, but we hope to improve it in future. What happens now with your papers? So since we cannot run many special issues in one journal during 1 year because it takes time to do it, we do it once a year after the main conference. And the main conference will be in September in Rome. So the first step will be, we will invite you to rank the journals. To rank the journals according to what do you think are chances that you will get published. Bear in mind that everybody wants Q1. So Q1 journals are usually oversubscribed 2 to 3 times. We have quotas for Q1 journals, which are usually like 20 to 30 papers per special issue. So guest editors will choose those that they think are the best chance to get published in that journal. So don't select as the first rank a journal that you don't have a chance to publish in, because then you will be not selected as a rank 1. And because in rank 1 selections, all the Q1 journals will be full. That means if you rank 2, again, Q1, you will pass on that one, and then Q3, etc., etc. So don't select all Q1 journals first, because it doesn't really make sense to put the Q1 journal on the 3rd place. So you have to do it very wisely. For Q2, Q3 journals, it's no problem. You will get a place. But of course, you want to try the Q1 journal. So it has to be attractive title, because this is what attracts the editor. And it has to be really in the scope of the journal. This is important. If it's not in the scope of the journal, then editor will not select it, because it's a small chance that it will pass. Once you get invitation letter, it is a question of ethics to answer it quickly. You have 2 answers possible: accept or decline. Please don't reply to that email, because we are sending hundreds of such invitations. Just click the link. I accept or I decline. If you decline, you will get probably a new invitation from another journal soon. If you accept, that means that you accept the obligation to deliver paper in the deadline given. You can ask for extension of few days, a week, but don't ask extension of 3 months. We will not give it, because the special issue is open only for 2 months. And usually the first month is gone while we are preparing these invitations, etc. So we cannot extend it for 3 months. Then you can send it to a journal on your own. It's fine, but don't ask for extensions. Now you have from April to September, you have 5 months to improve your paper. So have it ready from the scientific point of view, yes, you will need to edit it once you're going to get an invitation from a particular journal, because you will want to have a paper written according to the rules of that journal. So please read the invitation letter. Everything is inside. If you didn't get the invitation letter, but you get the reminder letter, that's a big problem, because you have no clue what you have to do. So in such case, you have to quickly reply and ask for resending of invitation letter. What happens with invitation letters is that it ends often in your spam filters. And it ends in your spam filters because, well, you didn't whitelist SDEWES.org. Please do whitelist SDEWES.org, and then you will be getting invitation letters. Read the guidelines. If you don't rewrite your paper according to the rules of the journal, then some editor which is doing pre-screening will just reject it. And it will not even come to us. So it will be a lost effort. Don't do that. You have to rewrite the introduction according to the paper, to the journal. Check on the papers published in that journal. The most important thing, if you didn't include in your literature review references from that particular journal, that means that you're out of scope and you will get rejected. So rewrite the introduction in a fashion that it's done in that particular journal. Okay, extensions I already said, please no extensions. Okay, so this is about publishing. You have time regarding the conference proceedings. In order to not to have this material online available to authenticate, we don't consider conference proceedings as published material. So this is only work in progress stick that you can use to see what people are researching about, but we don't consider it published. But you can consider it published if you need to have it for some particular reason, published for your project, etc. It's fine with us. I mean, it's on the stick, but it's not online, and it will not be online. So final version of this conference proceedings will only be available to participants around 1 week after the conference, when we cancel all those that didn't present their papers. But be careful not to upload your conference paper to repository if you want to get published in a journal, because the chance that editors will just reject your paper because there is a high similarity with the repository is high. It is legal to put your paper on repository. That's legal. And you can publish it in journal, but you will have to negotiate that. You know, we first reject and then we ask questions. So if you want to avoid long communication with the journal, don't put it in the repository. If you really have to put it in repository, then the best thing is to remove any mention of the conference, because some libraries might take that as a reference and then consider the paper published. We had such cases. So be clever. Your material is very valuable. You invested a lot of work. You don't want to have it to get it wasted. We are going to be inviting most probably also conference papers, not to Q1 journals, but we have some startup journals that ask us for help with papers. So we invite you. You can just click, I don't want to be considered anymore, and then we will not bother you anymore. But you can also decide, well, this can be a good opportunity to publish your paper. Copyright is with you, not with us. So be careful what you do with it. And that's it about publishing. Let's talk about future. We have next SDEWES is in Rome in September 9 to 12. We already have around 1,000 abstracts. I guess we will have around 500 people because we have only 500 places in the restaurant. So we will have to stop people registering if they cross 500. But we will accept online participants unlimited, no problem. And then we are considering to start African SDEWES series in 2025 in Morocco, Saidia. It's not yet a final decision, but most probably. And then next year, also there will be the main conference back in Dubrovnik, 25 October. Please, if you have done enough offsets for your CO2 emission, then you can fly to Europe. For 26, we're still open. If you have proposals, please send it to me. And with this, I would like to thank you all for this participation. Would you like to close the conference and give instructions for the social part?
Sure. Thank you, Nevin. That was a great summary of the publication process and the ongoing conferences that are coming up in the future. I myself will be attending the Rome conference in September. Just some information about the upcoming social event and the process. Hopefully you've all received the email coming through from Marcos. He's been sending these great emails with the detailed information. But just for those people that haven't checked the email or it's been in their spam filter, what we have is really after lunch, so we'll proceed to lunch. At 2 p.m, you'll really be rounded up from here and then taken to where the buses are. With the buses, they will take you around to Main Beach. We'll be looking at, we'll have someone really give us a bit of an ecotourism type presentation, more around the coastal engineering and management aspects of the Gold Coast. So talking about artificial reefs, talking about Wave Break Island, sort of walking a little bit on the beach. So it will be a little bit educational, a little bit sort of an excursion at the same time. That will occur for a couple of hours, and then we will come back to the Southport Yacht Club. For those people who do not wish to go on the bus and tour around, they may come directly to the Yacht Club. The dinner will commence from 6 p.m. So if you choose to go home, have a rest, maybe take a shower, and then you can get your own transport to the Yacht Club. So there really are your two choices. In the email, you'll see the directions. There's some links to Google Maps that can tell you where those locations are. You can also look it up on Google yourself. The Southport Yacht Club is at the north end of Main Beach, what we call Main Beach, and it's very close to where we'll be on the bus tour. So the bus tour will go up to the end of what we call the Spit. There's a rock wall going out, a seaway release, and then really sort of a few kilometres back is the Yacht Club. So we have the Yacht Club. There'll be dinner, there'll be drinks, there'll be some entertainment, and hopefully we'll have a great evening tonight. So yeah, encourage everyone who's signed up. Hopefully you've indicated that you're coming to attend and have a good night. So I'd like to finish there, have an enjoyable lunch, and just sort of say the final thank you to everyone for coming and attending the conference, and hopefully we can have more of these Asia Pacific conferences and we can grow this conference series within this region. So thank you very much, everyone.